With 5 days to go until California's Democratic presidential primary, the two top candidates are essentially tied. The latest statewide poll of registered voters puts Senator Bernie Sanders 1 point ahead of Hillary Clinton, a lead that's less than the poll's margin of error. The USC LA Times poll does give Clinton a slight edge among registered Democrats, and she is 10 points ahead among likely voters. And Mrs. Clinton is here in Southern California tonight, speaking to business owners and other local leaders in the Riverside County community of Paris.
That's where KTLA's John Fenoglio joins us live with more from the meeting inside the Casa Jimenez restaurant. John.
Micah, that's right. Mrs. Clinton wrapped up here just a little while ago discussing domestic issues. But earlier today, she focused on foreign policy and delivered her sharpest attacks yet on Donald Trump, contradicting his central narrative that America is weak. She called him unfit to be president, thin-skinned, and a liar.
Making Donald Trump our commander-in-chief would be a historic mistake.
Hillary Clinton unleashing on Donald Trump.
He is not just unprepared. He is temperamentally unfit to hold an office that requires knowledge, stability, and immense responsibility.
Blasting the reality TV star turned de facto Republican presidential nominee on foreign policy.
You know, there's no risk of people losing their lives if you blow up a golf course deal. But it doesn't work like that in world affairs.
The former Secretary of State touting her experience, insisting that a President Trump would endanger America.
A Trump presidency would embolden ISIS. We cannot take that risk. This isn't reality television. This is actual reality. Do we want him making those calls? Someone thin-skinned and quick to anger who lashes out at the smallest criticism. Do we want his finger anywhere near the button?
Before finishing her speech, Trump tweeting, bad performance by crooked Hillary Clinton, reading poorly from the teleprompter. She doesn't even look presidential. By sundown, Mrs. Clinton was back on domestic policy, answering questions from voters in Paris.
We've got to do more to provide access to capital and support for small businesses again.
Discussing at length her plans for supporting small businesses, creating jobs, and improving access to education. Area resident Monica Carey says she liked what Clinton had to say about immigration reform.
She was my inspiration when I was in my 20s in Mexico. Immigration has to improve and reform. We cannot stay with laws from 30 years ago.
And Congresswoman Maxine Waters says Clinton's visit will likely improve her chances when voters head to the polls Tuesday.
The margin of victory really lies in areas like this. And they're going to vote better from Paris, California, because she came.
And Clinton's comments are a clear indication that she is pivoting to the general election. She made no mention of Bernie Sanders today. Micah Scher, as you mentioned earlier, the two Democrats are locked in a dead heat here in California. I'm John Fenoglio. I'll send it back to you in the studio.
All right, John, thank you. Senator Bernie Sanders making his push to California voters in Chico tonight, where he told supporters he still believes he can defeat Hillary Clinton to become the Democratic nominee.
If we can win California, we are going to go marching into the Democratic convention with enormous momentum. And I believe we'll come marching out with the Democratic nomination.
Sanders also swung through Modesto, where he criticized Donald Trump's claim that California is not actually experiencing a drought.
House Speaker Paul Ryan has finally thrown his support behind presumptive GOP nominee Donald Trump. Ryan tweeted this afternoon that he and Trump have more common ground than disagreement. The speaker also penned an op-ed piece for his hometown newspaper in Wisconsin, saying he is convinced Trump will advance the Republican agenda. Meantime, Trump continues to campaign here in California and continues to attack Hillary Clinton.
And the only reason she's been dragged so far left, believe me, is she doesn't want to go to jail over the emails. I have watched so many lawyers on so many different networks. I have read so much about the emails. Folks, honestly, she's guilty as hell.
Trump went on to say he thinks Hillary Clinton should be in jail for her use of a private email server as Secretary of State. Trump will continue to stump here in California tomorrow, scheduled to hold a rally at the Redding Airport tomorrow at 1 p.m.